the virtual librarian. So let's start with some facts. 88% of the academic library users trust the library resources. Unfortunately, just 36% of those users think these resources are easy to use. Now compare this to search engines, where just 8% of the users think the resources are trustworthy, but an astonishing 88% think it's easy to use. No wonder why most of the users of the library start their search elsewhere. Google Search has an average of around 90% share of the search engine market worldwide, which means they handle 2.5 trillion searches per year, so about 75,000 queries per second. With less than 1% of searches bothering to go beyond the first Google result page, you have to think of ways to show your knowledge and resources on that first page. The library is about accessing knowledge, so what if we combine our trustworthy resources with the ease of Google search? Instead of just making it possible to access knowledge, we provide them with relevant knowledge at any time. The virtual librarian will accompany you on your search. When a user enters a search string, we can give them suggestions based on a thesaurus for optimizing their search. Besides giving them suggestions, we can make them aware of databases which the library has access to. Or what about letting researchers know about deals we have available for them for publishing their papers? So instead of waiting for users to come to you for help, we will be there in case of need, ready with relevant suggestions that we think will help them finding the knowledge they were looking for in the first place. You can think of several services or products of the library that the user might not be aware of. We do not just provide books and papers, we provide them with images, videos, courses, tools, and more. The library handles a lot of data. We're the perfect partner to provide users with additional data on research. Besides educating people on finding relevant and correct data, we will also give them an easy insight on data which we have available. This makes it easier for the user to determine if the search result is what they were looking for. The virtual librarian is always there if needed. With a few simple settings, the user is able to personalize the presence of the virtual librarian. We won't just be there on the first page, we'll be there on any page, providing users with relevant knowledge the library has available.
Okay, thank you. This was an explanation of the functionality we're trying to achieve. I'm now showing you a few slides on how we think we can achieve this. The center of it all will be a plugin, a browser plugin, which will try to see. Yes, it has to do the web page analysis of the page user is visiting. And based on the web page analysis, we think it should try to construct a query to a backend API which contains the metadata of that page. So what it's about, what query is handled, what is the result, is it a page of a certain provider, certain journal, etc., etc., etc. Where on the what's on the page basically, and a good way to do this would be create an open URL and access a library services APIs, which will in return a standard response describing the services that are provided for this object, and the browser plugin is supposed to show that those services in a web page, and that's basically what we foresee and what we're trying to achieve. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter, for this presentation. There's a question from Martin Batjes, if this will also become available for other libraries.
Well, we are trying to work together with all the Dutch university libraries on this to start with, and then at first we are talking with a plugin, a browser plugin manufacturer, because we foresee that we would rather try to work with a commercial plugin manufacturer instead of creating our own plugin. If you can find a manufacturer is already providing these services, other library plugin services. If not, we have to think about building a plugin ourselves. Basically, it will be we foresee an open infrastructure of services, and whatever we will do will be openly available.
There's another question from Gustavo Candela Romeo. Did you consider to use linked open data from libraries in the service?
At this moment, not. But you know, if you have an infrastructure as described, you can create your own backend services using any backwards resource to provide services in this ecosystem.
Thank you. So if there are any more questions, then we will send them to the speakers.